Okay, do you think that secularism is bad? You, Joseph Tillman.
Do I think that...
Pastor, doctor.
Yeah. All right. So I'll answer that from two perspectives. Do I think it's bad from the sense of that individuals want to push out religion? Yes. I think that's not okay.
Okay.
Like, I'm not for that. I think our country is really hinged on the fact that we are a religious country. And so I think that religion should be part of the fabric. I think it should be intertwined with who we are. And I'm not saying again, I'm for freedom of religion. I'm not sitting here saying we've got to demand everybody to be a Christian, right? Like, so
right.
But religion should still be allowed to be in the public square, in this public sphere. Okay.
Okay.
And so
from the public
yes
sector,
from the public sector,
from the private sector.
Okay, good question. Both.
Okay.
Yeah, and again,
so you think the public should push Jesus?
No. Okay, no. I think there should be an open. Like, I think there should be, and I think in a lot of places there are an openness to religion. So
okay.
I'm not saying they need to proselytize. I'm not saying private business or even the government needs to proselytize. But what I am saying is that but you know, and we kind of have that built in, right, to our Constitution anyway. Like, you cannot discriminate against religion. Like, that's kind of part of our deal,
right?
And we have the freedom of religion, and so what the language that individuals from like the ACLU and other secularist groups will say is, no, we want freedom from religion. Like, we want freedom we want freedom from religion. We don't want religion.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah, attached to us at all. What I'm saying is, no, we've been granted the freedom of religion. And so, like, you know, in any kind of space, individuals should be allowed to gather for or discuss religious things in the sense that, as long as it's not obviously interfering or causing conflict or that kind of stuff within the organization or within the government. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm not saying that any one religion needs to be pushed, and I'm not saying that they need to be proselytized, but you don't discriminate against, number one. And then, you know, like, you get a group of people, they're at a business or they're in a government, they want to pray. Okay, let them pray. Right? Like, no big deal. And I you know, even like this last week, I found it kind of crazy that, you know, there was the, hey, can we have a moment of silence? This happened in a couple of different spaces, both in the EU and in our own Congress, where there was the say, hey, can we have a moment of silence? You know, after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and both groups were like, no. And I think so. My whole point just being is, I think there's ways to go about this, right? And you saw that even in the reactions to, you know, after the death of Charlie Kirk, like, you know, certain baseball stadiums, certain football teams made the decision on their own to have, you know, a moment of silence. Well, that was their choice,
right?
And that's all I'm saying is they have the freedom to make those decisions,
right? Okay.
They shouldn't be prevented from being able to do that. That's really all I'm saying. Yeah. And so, and those that chose to not do it, that's fine, right? But it's that the freedom is built in for individuals, private companies, even government spaces to say, but we can make these decisions and choices, right? The freedom's there. So, but on the Christian side of things, right? Because like you said, like, secular is bad.
Yeah.
But I think that you rather look at it and say, well, but no, the secular doesn't mean it has to be without religion. Even though I know that's like the whole definition of it,
right?
But I guess what I mean by that is not that secular has to be without it or needs to have it, but that our workspaces, you know, we should be able to go into those workspaces and still consider that sacred space, and not just view it as this hardline secular space where religion's not allowed.
Okay.
And I think that was built in our country, especially through the 20th century, with the idea of privatizing religion. And what I mean by that is, you hear people all the time saying, well, that's private.
Oh, like my religion's a private thing.
That's private.
Okay.
Right?
Doesn't Jesus tell us it's private too?
No.
I thought he did.
No.
I thought he said don't go flash your religion around because that's bad and makes you feel like you're pride or something.
Well, he criticized the Pharisees, right, for being hypocritical and standing up and saying, everybody look at me, aren't I great? Look at how I pray.
Right.
Look at how much I give. Look at how I fast. Isn't that wonderful? But no, he was very clear to go out and we're going to share the gospel. We're going to proclaim the gospel. Like, this is what Jesus' whole ministry was built on.
So what would you want, like, what do you wish was in workplaces then? Like, what do you wish I could be able to do? Like,
no. So I guess what I'm saying is so that's what I'm saying. Kind of two different things. For a Christian, I think they should view their workspace as a sacred space and not view it as a secular space where their religion is not allowed.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is I can go into a space, I can pray. I'm not saying I pray out loud, okay? But like I can pray while I'm there. I can feel like while I'm working, that I'm working unto the Lord and for the Lord, that I'm even having communion and talking with him and feeling his presence in the midst of my work life.
Okay.
And that's what I mean by that. In other words,
so why can't I do any of that if the company wants no religion? Because I could do all that even if they said this is not a religious space.
Sure.
So what's the difference?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's not a religious space, but then this is the next jump. Okay. I do think that Christians have a responsibility as well to share their faith.
Okay.
And I think that becomes the tricky part.
So I have to go tell my boss that if he was actually a Christian, he'd be paying me more.
Well, I mean, if you want to, I mean, that's up to you.
And then throw a book at him.
Now, he can respond to you however he wants, and he might fire you, dude. But
whatever. It's for Christ.
Again, the throw again for Christ doesn't like throw a book at him and be like for Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's no. But
whatever.
Yeah. No. So all I'm saying is I think Christians need to have a mindset of where I'm going is still sacred.
Okay.
We don't have to have,
God owns every place.
Because God's with me. That wherever I go, he's like, I can be with him. And then
he's got the whole world in his hands.
But then the other side of that, right, is the other side of that is, like our school system, for example, right?
Right.
Teachers can't just start standing up and sharing gospel and okay, cool.
Right.
But before school, kids can gather together to pray and to worship, kids or after school or whatever it may be. What I'm saying is like individuals that are like would be considered like kind of hardcore secularists do not want that at all. They think that those kind of gatherings, or even like we see public prayer vigils,
like it's bad if my child even sees that and is influenced by that at all.
In other words, religion should only happen within religious buildings.
Okay.
So any kind of religious act should only happen within religious buildings.
And you would say that every act I do is a religious act because I'm a Christian and I'm supposed to do everything for Christ.
Right. And that it doesn't always look just overtly religious.
Right.
Right? Like I'm hoping I can have kindness towards someone, right? That I can be at peace with people, right? Those are Christian virtues.
I'm only nice to people because God tells me I have to be.
Well, hey, whatever the reason, dude, just whatever. And so, I think that's an important part. Like religion shouldn't be removed from all society.